Your DNA is beta software. Welcome back. I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author. The most sacred code in the human body, DNA, is no longer sacred. It's software. That's not a metaphor. It's a paradigm shift. And once you understand this shift, you understand the real nature of what's coming next. In the past, your DNA was considered a fixed, inherited blueprint, untouchable and unique. It determined your height, your eye color, your risk of disease, your athletic ability, your intelligence, and your predisposition to certain behaviors. It was nature's law, and you were subject to it. But today, scientists don't see DNA as law. They see it as source code, mutable, programmable, editable. Thanks to tools like CRISPR-Cas9, base editing, and now even prime editing, we can go into the genome and rewrite it like lines in a script. A genetic typo? Correctable. A harmful mutation? Replaceable. A weak trait? Upgradable. Genetic editing is no longer science fiction. It is an operational reality in labs, startups, and increasingly, commercial medicine. But this isn't just about fixing diseases anymore. That was phase 1. What's happening now is far more radical. The movement toward elective gene editing. We are beginning to edit DNA not just to survive, but to compete, to adapt, and to enhance. In 2024, a wave of biotech companies began offering CRISPR-based embryo screening and editing services to private clients. While public messaging focused on eliminating genetic diseases, the private options began to include cosmetic optimizations. Think taller stature, enhanced memory retention, reduced need for sleep, and improved muscular development. One company pitched its service to parents as a way to unlock your child's best potential. What we're seeing is the beginning of designer biology. It's framed in terms of health and potential, but it's driven by competition. And once one child in a classroom is edited for increased cognitive function, the pressure on other families to do the same becomes immense. The result is a genetic arms race disguised as healthcare. More alarmingly, the focus is now shifting toward adaptive editing, modifying DNA not just for beauty or IQ, but for environmental survival. Some researchers are exploring genes that increase tolerance to higher CO2 levels, UV radiation, or extreme temperatures. There are early-stage experiments on boosting human night vision, improving lung capacity at high altitudes, and enhancing pain tolerance. Why? Because the climate is changing faster than our biology can adapt. In this context, gene editing becomes not just enhancement, it becomes necessity. But necessity for whom? The uncomfortable truth is that access to this technology will be uneven. The wealthy will upgrade first. Their children will be born biologically ahead of yours. Stronger immune systems, faster reflexes, greater learning capacity. As these upgrades become normalized, legacy genetics, the unedited majority, will be seen as a public health burden. Unedited children will be considered disadvantaged not just socially, but biologically. In a generation, we may no longer ask, "Where were you born?" but "What version are you?" And this is where the software analogy becomes terrifyingly accurate. In software development, older systems are deprecated, unsupported, eventually abandoned. You don't patch a floppy disk, you build a new platform. As our DNA becomes updatable, the concept of a stable human identity begins to fracture. Just like your phone's operating system, your biology will require regular upgrades to stay compatible with the world around you. Now, some scientists argue that this is a positive. After all, if we can remove suffering, why wouldn't we? Why let people be born blind when the gene for vision correction is editable? Why endure cancer, Alzheimer's, or autoimmune disease when the switch can be flipped before birth? From a purely utilitarian perspective, it makes sense. But that logic doesn't stop at healing. It moves into optimization, and from there, into replacement. If your genetics are just a platform, why not rebuild from scratch? This is where the philosophical and ethical fault lines become impossible to ignore. Who decides what traits are improvements? Who owns your DNA once it's edited? If a biotech company edits your embryo, do they retain rights to that intellectual property? These aren't abstract questions. Some firms are already writing licensing agreements into the terms of service for gene therapies, effectively giving themselves partial ownership over your biological upgrades. And what happens if a child is born with an upgrade that fails or creates unexpected side effects? Who's liable? The parents, the lab, the software team that designed the genetic sequence? This is the future we're walking into, humans as biological products, editable, ownable, replaceable. And just like every tech product, built-in obsolescence becomes part of the model. Today's elite gene package becomes tomorrow's outdated system. Version 1.0 gives way to version 2.3. The result? A permanently stratified society, not by wealth alone, but by code base. You might think this is far off. It's not. In the IVF world, embryo selection is already common. People choose between multiple embryos based on health markers and gender. The next step is choosing between versions based on performance. That's what gene editing unlocks: customization before consciousness, design before life. And yet, even as we move forward with this science, there's a deeper metaphysical loss we're failing to acknowledge. We are trading mystery for control. In traditional societies, the imperfections of birth were seen as part of the soul's journey. Disabilities, differences, even delays, these were woven into a spiritual framework. But now, they are defects to be corrected. Variance is being eliminated. Human unpredictability is being engineered out of existence. In doing so, we risk creating a monoculture of optimized sameness, humans built for metrics, not meaning. And there's another danger. If editing becomes routine, identity becomes temporary. If your DNA can be changed at any point, who are you? If your physical form, temperament, and cognitive patterns are tweakable, where is the line between self and system? Between personality and program? We are entering an age where the body is not a boundary, where the self is not stable, where human experience is no longer rooted in biology, but in bioengineering. This doesn't mean catastrophe is inevitable, but it does mean the definition of humanity is being rewritten, line by line, gene by gene. What was once destiny is now decision. What was once sacred is now modifiable. The question is not, can we edit DNA? We already can. The real question is, once DNA becomes software, how long before humanity becomes just another platform? And when that happens, what becomes of us, the unedited? Will we be preserved, or will we be deprecated? Because in a world that updates its biology like it updates its apps, the oldest version isn't remembered. It's deleted. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing, and no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive Mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief Tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones, the replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans, the merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.